jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I'm in the dusty old shed right now, the old workshop. It's a Monday. It's getting back to work. Monday madness. Folks, if you're not on the Prepared Mind channel, get on. Make sure everyone, if you can't get others on this channel, get them somewhere. Get them thinking. Get them listening, please. What is going on is unbelievable. It is out of control. And, well, I love it because people are fighting back. They're speaking up. They're listening. There's support for it, folks. There truly is support for it. So I want to start the show off. We're going to do our 30-minute monologue and then your questions when we get to the inner circle. And that's you guys. If you're on the preparedmind.club as a premium member, if you're on Subscribestar as a premium member, it's easy and cheap. You go there, you sign up, $2 a month, 7 cents a day, and you can show up all day long on the weekdays, or at least, well, during the show, that is. You can show up and ask questions, and they just go right on the screen through Jolene. And that rhymes. But I want to start off this show with something important. I want you to know that what you say and what you think and who you talk to matters. You don't have to have a YouTube channel. You just have to start talking. And I want to give you an example here in our top story. A dad gets pissed off because some stinking woke doctor tried planting the seeds of grooming and the seeds of genital destruction in his head, hitting him up with some gender ideology questions. So this dad, he lets him have it in social media to wake up other parents as to how this is being done and what's going on. And he got massive support. Massive support. Folks, this is what is being said to kids everywhere when I read to you this story. The first thing in the conversation with doctors, with authority figures, with teachers, the first thing they do is plant the seeds of grooming and destruction inside their heads. And we all need to speak up, folks, against this agenda that doctors and teachers and socialist Democrats all pretend is being polite. Oh, you have to be polite in this sexualized child education catastrophe that they have going. And folks, remember, there's Democrat doctors and there's Republican doctors. And there is federal money going to these hospitals and doctors' facilities and clinics saying you have to ask these questions. You have to put out the grooming. And it is absolutely wrong and sick. So at least half the doctors are Democrats, which is surprising because they don't seem to understand what gender is and what real science is, but somehow they make it through medical school. And folks, you know what, these days, and I hate to insult doctors because I've met some fantastic doctors in my life, but if I can put my symptoms in WebMD and get better, more accurate results, then what do I need a doctor for? If I can go to a clinic, get my blood drawn, and have a computer analyze my blood and say, well, you seem to be high on this or low on that, I can put those numbers into a computer and it'll tell me what I need to do. I don't need a doctor. All a doctor seems to be these days, with the exception of brilliant surgeons, well, at least the ones who aren't cutting the tits and the penises off of children, right? You don't need doctors, because all they are is a freaking mouthpiece and a prescription signature for the pharmaceutical companies. Once again, I hate to put all doctors into this group, but how do you know which doctor you have? Do you have a real doctor or do you have a witch doctor that wants to shake a medicine bag at you and cut your dick off? So, folks, we all need to fight now with free speech, not guns, not violence. No need for that. Nothing harmful or dangerous here. Just a little good old-fashioned free speech. In fact, to make my point salient, before I read what this father said and wrote and has gone viral with millions of views. I want you to let you know that in my office, amongst my coworkers, I went off today on this whole gender bender bullshit. And I let them fucking have it. And I'll tell you what, everyone looked at me and shook their head. They're like, that's right, man. That's right. Oh, we went off. And then everyone took their turn saying it. Nice people, polite people, normal humans. That's right, folks. They want to call you cisgendered. In fact, that's what set it off. One lady looked at me and said, you know what? I'm tired of people calling me cis this and cis that. I said, right, you're normal. They don't want to use the word normal because to be different than them, normal, that makes the other people abnormal. And they don't want to be abnormal, so they call you a name. Cisgendered. Oh, you're cis. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, fuck them. It was good stuff. I do that, folks. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, there's at least 3 people sitting in there at that point. Maybe 4. I can't remember. I wasn't counting heads. I was busy ranting. Now, this father went on YouTube. No, not YouTube, Twitter. And he says, I'm literally on fire now. I'm reading this, folks. I'm literally on fire now. I just got off the phone with my wife who took my 9- and 7-year-old boys to the doctor today to get physicals for tackle football and school and all that other shit. My 9-year-old son went in first, and the first thing this woman, who's a doctor, asked him is if he identifies as a boy, a girl, gender fluid, or non-binary. My son, he's never heard any of that shit before. And said, you've been dealing with him your whole life. He is clearly a boy's boy. So are you trying to plant a fucking seed in his head? The only thing I could be thankful for is that my wife took them instead of me. And props to my wife for saying something, because if she didn't, they would have asked my 7-year-old son the same damn question. This shit is ridiculous. And to the people out there who think there is nothing wrong with that, and I'm just a transphobe and all that shit, you're fucked up. This is bullshit, and there's something wrong with you. And folks, it didn't just get the attention of moms and dads out there. And boy, the moms really like this guy. Called him Alpha Dad, right? A lot of support. Very few screwballs wanted to answer this, and thousands of people responded. Even Elon Musk tweeted in response to this, time for parents to fight back. Now recall, folks, if you will, that Musk has lost at least one of his children to this grooming and genital mutilation agenda. And who is it? Who is it that makes this agenda work, right? Who is the one behind it? Could it be Satan? Let's try that again.
Could it be Satan?
That's right. I think it is. All these evil bastards. I'm not gonna cut them some slack and say, no, they're agnostic evil. No, evil has its allies, folks. Evil is evil. And I'm glad that people wanted to support this guy and they got pissed off over it. So let's continue along this line. How do you destroy America? You attack its morals. You attack its children. You attack them in every fashion, at home, at school, at work, at church, at everywhere. The grocery store, you get attacked. Well, who are these people, folks? Let me give you a look at a typical Democrat out there. Oh, John, you're overacting. No, I'm not. Right? A doctor asked these kids this. What the hell does that have to do with physical? The kid should have dropped his shorts right then and said, hey, take a look at Junior here. I'm sure that pretty much lines out what I am, a boy. Anyways, in Tennessee, it's funny how Tennessee came up yesterday so much in the zoo. A Tennessee soccer coach was arrested for what? Drugging and then raping at least 10 people, folks. Oh, yeah, 10 children. And they think, the police do, that further investigation is going to lead to more charges. Good God. That's what these people think, folks. Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just a child. attracted person, right? He's a CAP, or was it a child attracted? Whatever. What is the name they have? They got some cute name. They tried coming up with it. Minor attracted person, a MAP. They're sick. They're absolutely sick. But, you know, they caught one a few years ago. Remember that guy, Dr. Larry Nassar? Oh, a doctor. Whoop, here we go again. A doctor, Dr. Larry Nassar. He was the USA gymnastic team doctor. And he was convicted in court before minor attracted persons were being pushed on us. Before the trans and LGBT community tried saying, oh, this is just fine. We should have children go see drag queens where genders are confused. Where you mix a guy with a beard with a chick with too much makeup. What the, you know, boobs in a bulge. What is going on around here? Anyways, good old Dr. Nassar, guess what? He got stabbed in prison several times. And what state was he in? Florida. Florida's not, it is not perfect, folks, by any stretch. I've been to many states and Florida is not perfect, but at least they have people who do not like this and are willing to go an extra mile, right? Well, let's see. Out in the public, you've got good sheriffs in Florida, like Sheriff Grady Judd. Man, I heard about that guy years ago. I thought, I like this fucking guy. And if I ever drive through Polk County, Florida, I'll be sure and drive the speed limit. So, let's see. If you're out of jail in Florida, you're going to have to deal with Grady Judd. If you're in jail in Florida, you're going to have to deal with someone who's probably going to stab you with an ice pick. So here we are, folks. That's what these freaks are about. The madness of what they're pushing on children is just disgusting. And I'm glad people like you are sending messages out, text messages, phone calls, emails, going on social media yourself and commenting about this stuff. Support people who are fighting back for you, your children, your grandchildren, etc. We have to do this, folks. We really do. Now, it keeps on going. I mean, I wanted to cover this one just because it's fun, right? I wanted to ask you, right? I took French in high school. I took 3 years of French. The reason I chose French is I'm not particularly fond of Spanish, having been called a pendejo my whole life. But, you know, even back in high school and before then, right? I actually liked French, especially since the hot chicks were in French class. And I was like, all right, that's the language for me. But whether it's French or Spanish, things have a male, masculine, or female, feminine prefix. So their letters, you know, we use the house, the cat, the store, the cheese, le fromage, right? They're male or female. What is going on in France and Spain with the fruitcakes? Do they have a fruitcake prefix instead of male and female? So, right, la vache, the cow. That's a female cow, right? La vache, right? El toro, that's the male, right? That's the Spanish, the bull. I'm sure they have El and anyways. What are they saying there? Are they going nuts with their language and destroying it as well? I wonder. I mean, they really do. They have male and we have the word the. It's unisex, right? It's not masculine or feminine. It's both. It doesn't matter. To them, it matters. To the French and the Spanish and others, Italiano, right? They are very much into the male and female. But I guess not anymore. Now you just want to, I guess, screw everything. Screw it. Screw everything. Now, again, the left is melting down. They are devolving into a state of madness. This morning I talked a lot about Guy Fieri, right? The the mayor of Spiceville or whatever the hell he's supposed to be. He's got some nickname, right? Anyways, he saw President Trump and shook his hand, and the leftists went nuts. No one's ever going to eat at your restaurant again, man. Right? How dare you? You should have called him a this and a that and told him to go rot in prison. And, you know, we thought Guy was a good guy, but now he's a bad guy. They're melting down over that. But then I said, hey, you know, We're the same way. We're the same way. I've had it with these fucking people. No more Mr. Nice John. No more Mr. Nice Patriot. No more Mr. Nice American to these un-American scumbags. You're not going to win them back over with your kindness. You're not going to win them over to our side of thinking by being what? You have to be tolerant. Remember when they used to tell us how to be fucking tolerant? You have to be tolerant of all the fruitcakes out here. You can't make fun of them. You can't tease them. You can't harass them. You can't bully them anymore. I remember this because I had to listen to this shit when my kids were just starting school, the early 2000s. You have to be tolerant. Fuck that. Are they tolerant of you? Cisgendered women, cisgendered men, you white Christian people, you black Christian people. Oh, I think I'm going to talk to my Muslim coffee provider tomorrow and ask him what he thinks of these gender-bendy ideologies. Ask him, hey, do you people in the Muslim community, do you like this shit? Then I can maybe ask him, what are you doing about it? Are you standing up for your kids, or are you letting them offer gender bender ideas to them in school? I'm just curious. I don't want to start a jihad down here in the South, but you know how it is. You know how it can go. But the left is coming absolutely unglued. We're exposing them, you and I. We're fighting back, you and I. We're speaking up, you and I. And it is driving them mad because we're not giving in. We're not being silenced. They want us silenced. Step up for yourself, folks. This is part of SHTF. This is part of the war. This is part of the battle, the war to take back ourselves, who we are, what we think, our states, our country, and the world. Now, the left is losing it, folks. Now, aides, staffers, people who work in the White House, they're starting to talk about how, behind closed doors, Dementia Joe is coming unglued at them, screaming and yelling. Here's a quote. Get the fuck out of here. That's right, folks. That comes from President Biden's mouth. Old Angry Joe, he's at it again. He's losing it. Over in jolly old England today, he kept getting lost. Even King Charles, and it's fun to call him King Charles. Even King Charles was getting frustrated with old stupid Joe. Tired of stupid Joe. It's unbelievable. But believe it, right? King Charles has to perform certain kingly duties in England. And Joe was supposed to accompany him. And kept getting lost, getting confused, getting distracted. Good thing there weren't any children around, or that'd have been the end of it. Joe would have made a beeline for them. You know, sniffy Joe, folks, but he's losing his mind. They're losing their mind at the top of the Democrat Party. They're losing it all along the way, folks. All the way down to the local idiots, right? And speaking of local idiots, remember this name, Ray Epps? That's right, Ray Epps was the man who led Trump supporters to the Capitol, right, in Washington, D.C., right? He led the charge through police barricades. And he even hurled, folks, chucked, tossed a metal sign at police. But guess what? Ray Epps, for all that he did, including the day before on January 6th, not on January 6th, but on January 5th, he was telling people to get violent and he was encouraging violence. But guess what? He's never been arrested for what he did. So now, useful idiot Epps, guess what he's being used for? They're wanting him to be their new law warfare face. The New York Times is encouraging Ray Epps, saying, hey, pal, you can sue Fox News for defamation. Well, I don't know what kind of case he's going to have, but yeah, go sue Fox News, Ray. Bring it up so that we can talk about everything you did on January 5th and January 6th. And how you were never arrested after it. Get back in the limelight, you useful idiot. And folks, if they succeed, if they get away with everything, guess what? Ray Epps is going to live the rest of his life a comfortable, rich man. Rich enough anyways, because he's getting paid off by these people. Have no doubt. I bet he's shaking them down going, yeah, I'll do it for another couple $1 million. I'll get in the limelight and cause a furor and piss people off. Or maybe he's afraid. Look, if I keep coming out, they're going to say I need to be arrested and someone's going to do it. Someone's going to do it. Right? What if President Trump wins the election in 2024? And what if President Trump puts in a real attorney general? And what if President Trump tells the real attorney general, you will go get Ray Epps right now? We have the evidence of him, tossing a metal sign at police. That is assault at the very least. Assault. Trespassing by breaking through barricades? Sure, why not? And arrest his dumbass and drag his dumbass back to Washington, D.C. and put him in a normal jail and have a real trial with a real judge and a real jury and come to the real conclusion that the video shows him committing acts of violence and that he should be charged. But I'm not for, folks, violating the man's rights. I want him to get his. I truly do. I want him to get his. All this pretending, folks, is bullshit. It's bullshit. All of this pretending that they're the good guys. Well, here we are, folks. We're on the preparedmind.club. We're on subscribestar.com. And several hours after I do this show right here with you live, guess what? It'll go to YouTube. And YouTube is still censoring people's speech. Not just little people like you and me, but even Australian politicians in Parliament. They're getting censored off of YouTube. Can you believe it, folks? It's pretty funny to me, right? Aren't politicians political experts? Aren't they supposed to be at least the last bastion of where things can be questioned and speech is brought up? Isn't that how that should be? I think so, right? Well, guess what? They're censoring one particular politician's parliamentary speech from the floor of Parliament on cerveza-bug. That's right, folks. They said it was medical information because this guy wanted to talk about cerveza-bug. I can't even tell you what he said because, well, I wasn't able to listen because YouTube deleted it. But wait a minute. Maybe I've got it right here. Maybe I have it right here. Let's check. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. Oh, the man's name was John Ruddick. Ruddick. The Honorable John Ruddick, according to Parliament. He was in the Liberal Party after 27 years, and wow, liberal, huh? Apparently, he wanted to critique the government's cerveza-bug policies. He says the authoritarian cerveza-bug police state all over a bad flu. Bad flu happens from time to time, but we treated cerveza-bug as though it was Ebola, right? He says the cerveza-bug fatality rate in New South Wales was 0.13%, at the upper end of what we expect each winter. He says, he continues, but to call cerveza-bug a pandemic was an insult to pandemics. And then he went after the Jim Jones juice, which he called Jim Jones juice extremism, right? And that implementing lockdowns was draconian. Of course it was. All of that was, right? He questioned the safety of it, the whole thing, citing data. Yeah, they can't have that much information get out. Not that anyone anywhere else in the world would ever give a shit about what an Australian parliamentarian would say, because the rest of the world doesn't listen to Australia. Canada only listens to Canada. The U.S. only listens to the U.S. England only listens to England. And who knows who the fuck they listen to over in Europe. But there is one organization in the world, folks, that thinks everybody should kiss their ass and listen to them. And that would be the United Nations. The United Nations, once an organization that everyone laughed at, flipped the bird to, because we know they're a bunch of rapists. We know they're a bunch of, that's right, human traffickers, committing all manner of illegal acts. The United Nations peacekeepers. Anyways, the UN now wants to launch this thing called global shocks. And it's a plan, folks, that gives them ultimate authority, super emergency powers. If something bad were to happen because of a war or a pandemic or even something bad happening from outer space. That's right, folks. And this new, let's call it, agenda, it goes into action in September of 2024. And guess who in America supported it? That's right, Joe Biden. Now I want to wrap up the first half of this show by talking about the movie that's out there that has Jim Caviezel in it. Or Caviezel. Jim Caviezel. His movie has gotten an awful lot of attention. Let's see. Let's see if I can find this here. Right. Have you guys seen his movie? The Sound of Freedom. Have you seen it? A friend of mine, well, he's a work associate, but he called me about some stuff today, work stuff. But before he could even get halfway through the first sentence, he goes, you know what? Me and my wife went and saw The Sound of Freedom last night. And I was like, wow, you're going to bring this up with me, huh? And he was like, yeah, man, you've got to know that this child sex trafficking thing is real. I was like, okay, that's interesting. He goes, this movie was based on a real story. I was like, yeah, it was, huh? I said, you know, I want to see it. I just know what it's about, so I don't want to see it because it's just going to piss me off more. He said, but John, it's a really good movie. It's done really well. I said, was the score good? He said, the score was amazing. And for those of you who aren't really aware, a score is kind of the music that plays in the background, right? He said it was a really well done film. And he goes, you know, that Mel Gibson directed it. I said, he did? I actually didn't know that. I said, yeah, Mel Gibson has fallen afoul of the powers that be in Hollywood the last few years because he made a comment about how Jews run Hollywood or something like that. Got himself in trouble. Anyways, this friend of mine was going on and on. I said, it's interesting that you are just now hearing about this. He goes, no, I've known about it for a while. I said, really? Okay. So you're aware of Comet Ping Pong and Jeffrey Epstein and Obama with his hot dogs and pizza parties where he wanted to fly in hot dogs and pizzas from Chicago? He goes, no, what's that all about? I said, that's code for little boys and little girls. I go, you haven't heard of Comet Ping Pong and James Oliphant? And how all of that was just silenced when it came up? He goes, no. I said, maybe you and your wife ought to look into that. I'm glad you're here to the party. Welcome to the party, pal. Yeah. I still haven't seen the movie Sound of Freedom, but I really think that it's probably worth it. I think it's worth it. I think I should probably watch it. What do you guys think? Have you watched it? Have you seen it? You know, what do you guys think of that? Do you think it's going to help raise awareness? Now, my understanding is that The Sound of Freedom is doing very well at the box office. My friend said, hey, man, I hear that they're pretending that the film broke and that the systems aren't working. They're doing everything they can in movie theaters to try and shut it down. I'm like, then why don't they just pull it all together? Right? So any movie theater that doesn't have it, folks, guess what? They're woke, they're left, they're Democrats, they're socialists, they're Marxist. If they won't allow a movie. Now, it's not a documentary, which is kind of what I thought it was when I first heard about it. It's a story that's told based on real life facts that happened and real life people that lived and experienced this shit. But it's not a documentary. It's an entertaining movie that Jim Caviezel is starred in. I find it fascinating. I think I may look into it. What do you guys think? Right? Chance favors the prepared mind, I like to say. So, are people waking up? Are they standing up for their kids? Are they going to stand up for their parents? Are they going to stand up for themselves? Are they going to stand up and start fighting for their states and their country and their souls? How about you? I know as a prepper and a patriot you are. Help others realize this goodness that's inside them. And people know what is right and wrong. People know what is good and evil up here. They just need to be exposed and told it's okay. It's okay to be a decent human being. It truly is. All righty, you saw that? That means it's your turn. It is now time for the inner circle here on the Prepared Mind channel. You guys are up. What is your topic? Do not be afraid to ask questions. Hey, if you can't ask me a question, bring up a thought, history, future, a topic, right? It'll be harder to talk to other people for real. Odds are you put a comment up, I'm going to agree with you. Then I'm going to expound on it. I'm going to talk about it some more. I swear, like an hour ago, it felt like a bug flew up my nose. And it's like, my nose is in itch mode. Funny stuff. Anyways, we've got Jolene in the house. We've got Ooman in the house. And we're going to start with Chin Music. We got Chin Music in the house. And he says, when they try to groom one of my kids, I will help the doctor schedule some emergency dentistry. That, my friend, I cannot encourage. Dangerous or harmful behavior or glamorize or glorify violence. But if you will do me a favor and please take pictures of the incident and send them to Jolene, I would much appreciate it. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of parents out there who are like, we've had enough. We have absolutely had enough. Those are the parents that you hear about that are going to school boards and standing up and reading the pornography that the school boards, the principals, and the teachers are handing out and giving to students. Parents who have had enough are the ones who go to the school and confront teachers over the communist flags in their classrooms and the trans flags in their classrooms and say, where is the straight flag? Where's the straight pride flag? You don't get to push your agenda on my kid. Sorry, nuh-uh, no more. You don't get to tell one side of the story. In fact, you don't get to push sexualized agendas on my kids, period. I'm telling you, folks, what needs to happen is that flag needs to be recognized as a symbol of perversion, not universal acceptance of everybody, because it's not tolerance. It's the opposite of tolerance. It is the flag of intolerance. It is the flag of perversion. There's nothing tolerant about perversion, folks. Nothing at all. Once it's recognized as that, anyone flying it needs to be told, take that shit down, you sick bastard. Because you want children hurt. You want children groomed. You want children to be sex slaves. Because that's what they do, folks. That's what they do. That's what it's all about. Don't trust me? Don't believe me? Don't think I can't be right? Go back 5 years and think about where we're at today. If we don't stop them now, where do you think it's going to be in the next 5 years ahead? How much worse will it be? How much more disgusted will you be in 5 years if they continue at the pace they're going? At the pace they're going, what are they up to next? I'm telling you, folks, it's going to get bad. Right now, yeah. Doctors, dentists, teachers, politicians, your neighbors. What if you saw your neighbor come out of the house as a drag queen and running down to the curb with a basket full of candy and a bullhorn calling all the children to him? Or maybe a cooler full of ice cream cones for the children. Wouldn't you love to see a rainbow hair wigged fruitcake with fake boobs, obscenely large boobs sticking out, with obscenely large fake nipples sticking out, pointing at kids and saying, welcome, children. I'm a drag queen. Have some candy. Have some ice cream. We're the good guys. I mean, there used to be jokes about people who tried to lure kids with candy and snacks and goodies. Now they're right out in your face. Not only are they giving, right, this filthy system, and yeah, I'm on a bit of a fucking rant today, right? They're teaching kids how to get on stripper poles. They're giving homosexual pornographic material to kids in school. It's not just that weird guy at the end of the block. It's in the schools everywhere. They're trying to destroy America. And they're doing a hell of a job, aren't they? Folks, it is a huge piece of SHTF. If you're not willing to stand up for your kids, how are you supposed to stand up to evil in government? If you won't stand up to people in your school, how are you going to stand up to the feds and tell them to fuck off and back off and get away from you and knock it off? I mean, everything. You've got to be able to stand up at every level. At every level. Now, folks, every now and then I see a rainbow flag. The other day I saw one a couple hundred yards away. It was really hard for me not to want. I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't. And I wanted to go down there to that person, whoever the hell they were, and just give them a fucking piece of my mind over their fucking flag. I'm telling you, folks, we're all getting pissed off. Not to commit acts of violence or be dangerous or mean or any of those things, but to tell these people what we think of their belief system. All right. Yeah, I mean, hell, pull out the facts. How many kids commit suicide because they think they're trans and it's fucked with their head so bad that they're depressed and demoralized and they hate themselves and their parents? And who puts it in their head, folks? Is it their teacher asked them, today, do you want to be a boy or do you want to be a girl? Or do you want to be non-binary? Or do you want to be gender fluid, meaning you can change anytime you want? Isn't this a cute game? Pretty damn sick. All right, let's move on. Who has the next questione? And it is Jolene. We got Do Stuff with Nikki, who says, go Florida, right? Saving taxpayers money, one pedo stabbing at a time. There's a little bit of, shall we call it, sardonic satire, humor, little dark, little gruesome, but that's right. Saving taxpayers money by getting rid of these scumbags. I mean, let's see. Let me ask you a question. If there was someone from prison who was noted for robbing banks, would you let them anywhere near your bank account, your bank information, your bank account numbers, your passwords? So if you know they're a criminal and they're immoral, they're indecent, and they've been caught doing this stuff, would you allow them anywhere near you and your money? How about this? How about a serial rapist gets out of prison and moves into your neighborhood? Are you going to invite him over for dinner? Say, hey, can you hang out with my wife and daughter while I go to the store? Well, if you know someone is known for that, you wouldn't allow them anywhere near your house or your family members. So why would you allow one of these sick flag-waving fruitcakes anywhere near your kids in school, after school, at soccer, at the doctor's office, or at the White House with President Biden? Right? It's amazing to me that these socialist Democrats think that we're supposed to, well, those are the bad guys. And Trump is a bad guy too. He should be in prison with the other bad guys. But all of these sexual deviants, they're just fine. They're just expressing themselves by putting their penises in other people's butts. That's a great way to express yourself, huh? Wow. Unbelievable. And that's what they think, folks. That is what they think is proper. I don't see anything proper in that, do you? I really don't, yeah. Now, I wanted to read to you this news story. A judge Well, this is a liberal judge. And this liberal judge was appointed by Bill Clinton, which means this liberal judge has been in business at least 23 years. This judge has ruled that in Wisconsin, that the schools have to allow a male genital having female, that is to say, a trans identifying biological male. They have to let those people into girls' restrooms. That's interesting. That's a federal judge. I'm sure that this case is going to go to the appellate level, the next level up. It's going to be appealed. Appealed. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. See, I guess men can wear dresses, but that doesn't make you a woman. A man can say that he's a trans man and he's transitioning to women, so he wants to be recognized now as a woman. I don't think so. How about this? If you want to be a trans person, when you're all completely done, when you get done cutting off your pecker and your balls, and they sew a little fake vahoo on you, then you can say you're a woman because, well, I guess you would look like one, but still, right? I think they're incredibly dangerous people. Did I not, or did I read the story, talk about it with you, about the 15-year-old boy in England, the United Kingdom? 15-year-old boy walked past a very tall woman and the very tall woman's other tall friend. 6'3" woman walked past him. And the next thing he knew, he woke up naked and his butt hurt. That's right. The tall woman bashed him on the back of the head, stripped him naked and raped him, as well as the other woman. See, that's what happens when you assume that someone wearing makeup, claiming to be a woman, is a woman. It's funny, you know, if I were to get out of my car and walk over to a fence and piss on it because I couldn't get to a restroom in time, I would be charged with a sex crime, right? Not rape, not molestation, nothing like, right? It's a sex offense because my penis was out. I exposed the world to my penis. But as far as these gender benders are concerned, that's just perfectly fine. You should be able to wag it in front of anyone's face. Just like during the pride parades as they rode around naked on bikes, wagging their weenies at kids. These are sick people, folks. These are the same people that are in political positions of power, which is why I talk about them. Katie Hobbs, Arizona governor, right? Telling people to give it a fucking break and back off, right? She's the one that flew pride flags above the American flag. Her husband is pro-tranny crap too. These people are in positions of power. We have the hair sniffer groper in chief in the White House. Don't tell me that the sexualized agenda isn't part of their Destroy America, right? Destroy It Better program, because it is. All right, enough of my shit. What do you guys want to talk about? Jolene, who wants to step up next? It's Vincent Boyle from Belfast, Ireland, or at least he used to be from Belfast, Ireland. He says, old Joe will crap his pants in front of Charlie. He already farted in front of horse-faced Camilla. That's right. Did she get to change her name, Vincent? Camilla Parker Bowles, right? The longtime horse-faced ugly bitch who's been with King Charles back when he was Prince Charles, and even when Prince Charles was married to Princess Diana, he was having his little fling with Camilla Parker Bowles. Is she still Camilla Parker Bowles, or is she now Camilla Windsor? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. But yeah, Joe Biden, right? He farted all over her last time he was in England. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to crap his pants and worse. I wonder if the royal family is smart enough to keep children away from Joe. I wonder. The royal family also, folks, has had a long history of abusive, or I should say allegations of abusive behavior towards children, including Canadian children, if you know the stories. including Prince Andrew, brother of Prince Charles, who was good buddies with none other than Jeffrey Epstein, who spent a lot of time in Little St. James Island with Jeffrey Epstein and in Jeffrey Epstein's New York apartments / condos / mansions. That's right, folks. These people get around. And they like to get around, and they enjoy getting around with each other. They don't want to give up their power or the prestige of being super powerful and having the power and authority to hurt other people. And what's especially disgusting is that they don't have any problem hurting children. Hurting children. Now, a news story did come up today that Turkey has agreed to support Swedish membership in NATO because, well, Erdogan, that's right, the leader of Turkey, NATO's second largest military ally, NATO's second largest military country, Turkey within NATO, right? They now want Sweden in. Now, a lot of people have taken this as, well, Turkey just crapped all over Russia and Putin, that he backstabbed Putin by doing this. I think it's kind of rather ridiculous, right? Sweden met the demands of Erdogan. I find it interesting that a country would, how do I want to put this? That the leader of a country would sell its own country for membership in NATO. I mean, number one, I'm Swedish. You think the Swedish government gives a shit about NATO? What are they going to contribute to NATO? Sweden is not a military powerhouse, folks. Sweden is Sweden, right? The real power in NATO is, well, the military of Turkey and the military of the United States, and somewhat of the military of Poland and Germany and England, somewhat of France, maybe a little Italian and Spanish help there, but not a whole lot. Essentially, it is the United States backing all of NATO. Now, what does Turkey care about Sweden? Well, they used it to, well, put down certain groups in Turkey, in Sweden. But more importantly, what does Russia have to worry about from Sweden? Why would Russia give a shit if all of a sudden Turkey is okay with Sweden being in NATO? Right? If Putin invades any other countries, right, they're going to see that as an act of aggression that is more akin to Hitler's acts of aggression. Right? I'm waiting. Okay, if Putin is going to invade other countries, I'm waiting. Is he going to invade Poland next? Is he going to invade Belarus, an ally that he gave nuclear weapons to? Is he going to invade Romania or Hungary, Macedonia? Right? What is Putin going to do? Right? He's a long way from Sweden. Right? He couldn't give a shit about Sweden. Really. But people are making a big deal out of this as if it's really going to change the way the war is being fought in Ukraine and Ukraine's efforts to try and take back lands. They say they don't want anything to do with Ukraine, that they want to be part of the Russian Federation. Can you imagine that? Imagine this. What if part of India said, hey, we no longer want to be part of India, we want to be part of Pakistan? Would the world support India going into that territory and shooting people and killing them? Or would the world say, hey, India, they have a right to associate with who they want? It's just a question. What if these same people said, hey, we want to be part of China, not part of India anymore? Would India go in there and start killing people? Well, how about this? What if Vancouver, British Columbia, wanted to become part of the state of Washington here in the United States of America? And they had a vote, and they annexed it, right? Washington annexed Vancouver, British Columbia. Would Canada have a right to go into Vancouver and start killing people? Or would we say, hey, man, they're part of the U.S. now. Don't you fuck with them? Just a question, right? Ask questions. See how you feel about it. See what you think. If the shoe was on the other foot, right? What if Puerto Rico decided it doesn't want to be part of the United States anymore as a territory? What if Hawaii voted and said, well, they would rather be part of Japan? Would the United States of America have a say in it? Well, I guess the federal government, the U.S., has some military interests in the island nation of Hawaii. Would it be like Cuba, where the whole island belongs to Cuba except for Guantanamo Bay, which is held by the American military? Questions, right, that need to be asked. Let's do this, Uvan. Let's do this, Jolene. Let's do another question from you guys. Name redacted said, we should see and evaluate what was permitted to be made and released. What are we talking about? We should be able to see and evaluate what was permitted to be made and released. What are we talking about? I need some more specifics, some more information, some more data. What do we have going on here? See and evaluate what, and what was permitted for what? Or are you talking about, the Sound of Freedom movie? In other words, what was omitted from the movie? What was in the script that had to be removed? Well, the movie, according to my friend, felt kind of like an R-rated movie. It was pretty rough. You wouldn't want kids to be watching it, according to him, and he's a decent fellow. You know, it's pretty rough. You wouldn't want children watching it. So I don't know what age he thought would be advisable. Yeah, I wonder as well. Now, the movie Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick's seminal film, his last film, by the way, having to do with rich elite people having orgies and playing their little games, dressing up in masks, hiring prostitutes for the purpose of sexually gratifying people, all at a large orgy fest at a house. Apparently in that movie, there was a scene that was removed. It's a scene where Tom Cruise walks past a doorway and looks in and sees something shocking. But that scene, that quick blip, was excised, removed, reportedly, allegedly, because there was an act that was being committed that was illegal, against the law. And folks, we understand that prostitution's illegal. We understand that. We know that. But the question is, well, what else would be illegal? I guess showing it would be, wrong. Could it be sex acts with minors that Tom Cruise saw, that these rich, elite, powerful bastards were participating in? And that they couldn't show that because it was just too much for the movies, too graphic? Well, that's what a lot of people think was part of that movie. And a lot of people believe that just that movie alone was why Stanley Kubrick finally kicked the bucket. He had to go. That was the end of it for him. There's a lot of concern out there, folks, about our world and our so-called leaders. These people are very bad. They're evil. I don't like any of them. And anyone who attains, shall we say, high office in Congress, in the Senate, powerful people who become heads of state, members of the president's administration, right? Pentagon brass. I don't trust any of them, and I don't care what political party they say they're affiliated in. I don't trust them. Why should I? What cause do I have? What actions have they taken that can be demonstrated so that I would go, oh yeah, I trust them? completely 100%. No, again, I encourage these actors, these politicians, these bureaucrats. I encourage them if they do good things. And I criticize the hell out of them if they don't, and they do something stupid or wrong or evil. And I think we should all be doing that instead of giving these people a pass. I think we give them way too much credit for doing good, thinking that, well, they haven't done anything bad that we know of, so they must be good. At this stage, folks, I look at these politicians in Washington, regardless, and I say to myself, you know what? I wouldn't trust my kid in a room with them. I wouldn't trust my mother in a room with them. I wouldn't trust a stack of money in the room with them. This story just popped up. Who is Sam Smith? Oh, he's the artist who headlined last week's Grammy Awards with his performance designed to honor the mystery person. Who could that mystery person be that he was honoring? Could it be?
Could it be Satan?
Yeah, Satan. Well, that's what Sam Smith did last week, right? He performed their song, he and Kim Petras. The song was called Unholy. What does that mean to you, right? It was another one of these, hellish, devilish, satanic performances. Well, in Madrid, Spain, they got a Sam Smith butt-shaking show, another sexualized thing. And so these people are that sick, folks, that sick. A booty-shaking, open-ass leggings and boots in Madrid. I don't even know who the hell this Sam asswipe is, Sam Smith. I've never seen him in my life. I couldn't tell you which one of these fruitcakes in the picture he is. But what I can tell you is he has a diseased mind and that he has just evil, right? Blood coursing through his veins. Unbelievable that these people even exist, folks. That people would pay them money to do things, right? So the rich corporations that sponsor these things, these civic organizations, that is cities and governments, pay to have this stuff and allow it without checking it out first. I would think that if I was, let's just say, the city of Rochester, New York, I was the city manager of Rochester, New York, and someone came and said, we need to have Sam Smith come here. He's going to wear some assless chaps and shake his flabby fat ass and invite children to his concert. I would, as a representative of the city, say, no, that is not only disgusting and immoral, but it's also illegal because it is sexualizing children. And denied. Not in the city of Rochester, New York, because that's how the law works. Unfortunately and sadly, these people in government are allowing evil. They're allowing it, folks. They're even encouraging it. All right. I don't know if we have anything more to discuss. We're at the end of the hour, and I'm going to let you go on this Monday madness. And folks, away we go, right? Crazy times. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. The system's coming apart from the Bidens at the top and the Obamas all the way down to the bottom. These people are losing their fucking minds. They're losing their minds. Chance favors the prepared mind. They're losing their minds. You should have the prepared mind. Always faithful, folks. Always be faithful to what you know is true and honest, good and moral. The U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and whatever spiritual belief you have that is truly good. Godspeed.